Howdy guys, Radio Magic here. I hope you're all having a fantastic morning, day, afternoon or evening, wherever you are and whatever you are up to. Today we are back on the channel testing how viable is Control in the historic meta, whether you're climbing to Mythic, you're going through Mythic, or maybe, just maybe, you're trying to make your opponent's lives as miserable as humanly possible. Either way, we're testing loads of different variants of Control to see how they do when you push them up against each other. And today we're giving Esper a go. So fun fact, Esper was the first colour combination of Control that I was introduced to. It's where I found my Control legs. And I feel like we've been neglecting it a bit on the channel recently. We haven't done Esper in a while. We've been covering Jeskai and Blue-White, some Azorius as well. We even did Grixis before we did Esper. I know, boo boo, we should be doing Esper first. But either way, we're going to be trying Esper today. For those of you that aren't interested in a very short deck tech today, go down to the description and you will find timestamps for the games. There'll be no spoilers down there, so feel free to go and check that out. There's also be a deck link down there, so if you feel like playing the game, maybe giving it a whirl, first of all, go check it out in the deck link, and also let me know in the comments down below how you get on with the list, because I'd love to hear how you guys get on with it. And also on a side note, if you guys have any different variants of this, do let me know down below as well. But we'll mention all that at the wrap up at the end. So Esper Control. Esper with blue-white, but we're adding that black in for some very good reasons. So we've got the core blue-white package with sort of Teferi for card advantage. We've got Narset and Searcher's Canter as well. Our counter spells of choice are Memory Lapse and Absorb. And unlike Grixis, we're actually going for the conventional counter your opponent's spells and try and hold them back that way rather than playing proactively. And then also in the form of win conditions, we've gone with Teferi and Shark Typhoon. So that's our sort of blue-white package. And obviously Wrath of God is our board wipe because I feel white has just generally better board wipes than black. So I've decided to stick with Wrath of God, which actually could be debatable because it really skews our mana base quite a bit that we have to run a double white card. Otherwise, we'd just be splashing the white for Teferi and Absorb. But either way, our other win condition that we've added into the list outside of Teferi and Shark Typhoon is Liliana Dreadhorde General. I know what you're asking yourself. What is this card, Radio Magic? How are we playing this? This is not something we've seen pop up in a while. Well, Liliana Dreadhorde General was a card that's relatively old now, but pretty fun card. 6 mana, 6 loyalty planeswalker that reads, whenever a creature you control dies, draw a card. Doesn't seem particularly relevant outside of our Shark Typhoons, but Liliana's +1 allows her to make zombies, and then she can sort of semi-wipe the board with her minus abilities, and then her ultimate essentially reads, you win the game. I have actually ultimate Liliana before in Arena and not won the game, so definitely a possibility, though most of the time you are going to win with her. Liliana might just be a little bit too cute for this list, and it might be a 6 mana planeswalker that does nothing really in the early games, like before turn 6 is just not good enough, and you'd rather just have the 4th Shark Typhoon since we're only running 3, because at least Shark Typhoon can cycle early and do something relevant. But we're running black, we're running Control, so we're going to play Liliana Dreadhorde General to see how she gets on. It's every possibility that she will be crap, and we should not be running her at all, but only through testing are we going to figure that out. Other black inclusions we've decided to play, so Mystical Archive card, Inquisition. We should probably be playing 4 of these, but we're only playing 3 of these because making room in this list was really, really tough. Maybe we should just cut the Liliana for the 4th Inquisition. But Inquisition, pretty good hand hate spell. Not running Thoughtseizes. We are running some Thoughtseizes in the board, but we need to protect our life total as much as we can being a control list, and we don't have too much life gain in the list outside of Absorb and Cling to Dust, so need to really preserve our life total as much as we can. And being a 3-color list, we are actually damaging ourselves quite a bit of our mana. So decided to go with Inquisition instead. And by the time Inquisition falls off, turn 4, we normally have our counter spells up. We have our pretty premium removal spells, so hopefully we can answer them that way. Cling to Dust is our main deck graveyard hate, like our Rest in Peace, our Graph Digger's Cage, things like that. Cling's been really good in the meta actually recently. Being able to draw a card, cycle, can do that in the late game as well when you start to fill your graveyard. Kind of good against rogues because it keeps your graveyard down at the same time as hitting on Arc like Phoenix and other graveyard based decks game 1. So really impressive Cling, and it can also gain your life against them burn decks as well. Other black cards we're running, we've decided to go Baleful Mastery as one of our removal spells. I feel like you probably want to be running the 1 or 2 of this, maybe 2's right, but we've decided to go with 3 of these just to push it up a little bit to test how well they're going to get on. But 4 mana Vraska's Contempt, essentially. You exile target creature, planeswalker, no passive life gain. But the upside is you can pay the student cost of this for 1 black and 1. And if you pay that, your opponent gets to draw a card. So you should probably see already, but the nombo with this is if you do this in your opponent's turn while you have a Gnar set out, you basically spend 2 mana to exile a creature or planeswalker, since your opponent can't redraw, obviously, because they've taken their draw step already. Other removal spell running of choice is Heartless Act. There's tons of things. You've got Doomblade, you've got Eliminate. We're running Eliminates in the board. There's Fatal Push. There's loads of different things you could be running instead of Heartless Act. We're not running Fatal Push just because we're running 3 colours and it's not easy to trigger Revolt every turn. But I've decided to go with Heartless Act and then run some more removal spells in the board. So that covers the main deck pretty much. Mana's a little bit messed up, but we've done our best with the mana. We have access to all of the lands. I'm just really not sure what we should be running. I feel like maybe we did a bit of playtesting with this before we came onto the video, and maybe the castles are just too much and we'd just rather run maybe an extra Shockland, an extra Godless Shrine, and go up on an island. I don't think you want to run any planes because outside of Wrath of God, you don't really need double white for anything. And we need to be able to cast our Gnar set on curve a lot of the time and our Absorb. So we need our double blue. As for the sideboard, running a ton of counter spells, or not as many as normal, but 3 Dovin's Vetoes. Then we've got our Aethergust for them Gruul matchups, burn matchups. Thoughtseizes for the control mirror, and anything where we need to sort of disrupt our hand. Tainted Pack has been a thing recently, going around quite a bit. And Thoughtseize is a pretty efficient way to interrupt Tainted Pact. I've been really impressed with Rest in Peace above Grafdigger's Cage recently as well, just because it answers all the thing that Grafdigger's Cage does. It has the disadvantage of coming down on turn 2, so it can be hand-hated away from you. But it's not easily as answered, especially against the Magma Opus deck that's going around a bit as well. Rest in Peace, at least, you can't Prismari command the Rest in Peace, which is what I'm trying to get at. Eliminate as extra removal spells in case we need them. Shadow's Verdict for Rakdos Pyromancer sort of lists. We get to get our opponent's graveyard at the same time. And then Fort Distortion because we're running black and we're a control list, and I'm sick of being Fort Distorted, and I'd rather Fort Distort our opponent on turn 6 before they can Fort Distort us. So yeah, we're running black in a control list, so we're going to be running 1 copy of Fort Distortion. But that is it. So I tried to get through the deck tech as quickly as possible because we want to play as many games as possible, and I'd rather play 5 games than 4 games. So we're trying to get this out of the way. But yeah, I'm going to shut up now, and I'll catch you again at the end with the wrap-up. Okay, we are on the play with some Esper Control in Historic Best of 3. And this hand really relies on us drawing a 3rd land, because at least we can cycle our Shark Typhoon for 1. So we really think in the next 2 draws, is there going to be a land on top of our deck? And is there going to be an untapped land? It's kind of high hopes. Probably going to mulligan this away. I really don't want to just get screwed to lands game 1. So let's just mulligan. And yeah, this hand looks a lot better. Gonna keep this. Probably going to put, like, Godless Shrine at the bottom. Yeah. Want to keep our interaction. Shark Typhoon's good late. Maybe we should have put Shark Typhoon in the bottom, since Narset can just find us more action. That could have been a reasonable shout. Definitely can't bottom the Heartless Act. That's a good one to draw. Gonna help us find our lands. Scavenging Ooze is going to do a good job of keeping... Yeah, we'll keep that. It's going to do a good job of keeping our graveyard controlled. Probably just going to Heartless Act it. I guess no reason to wait. We'll destroy it while it has no counters on it. And then, yeah, pretty much exclusively looking for lands. Guess they're just going to take that away from us. Yeah. Inquisition our opponent here. Could Psycho Shark Typhoon to make a 1-1. Have a look what our opponent's up to. Great Henge. Guess Lovestruck Beast. Yeah, our opponent's going to collect a company next turn. If they find enough power, they're going to be able to cast the Great Henge. Probably taking the Lovestruck Beast just to remove the most power from play. Skyclave can, like, answer our Narset, but I don't think we're worried too much about that. Really struggling with lands here. I guess if we're just making a 2-2, we should just cycle this now. Making a 0-0, we should cycle this now and try and hit lands. Nope. So maybe a bit greedy putting our 4th land at the bottom instead of Shark Typhoon. Okay, we did hit land. Guess we'll pay the life because we can get a 2-2 back from this Skyclave. Opponent just collected companies here. Yep. Nice. You love it. Collected Company into our Llanowar Elves. Yeah, we're just going to, if opponent attacks it both, yeah, we'll just exile the Skyclave and then use our 2/2 to block the Llanowar Elves. And that feels bad. Like, it feels so bad when your opponent Collected Companies like that. But at the same time, like, Collected Company has that variant on it. Definitely can happen. Yeah, I think we just have to Narset here. Search for Scanter's going to dig us deeper. Yeah, I think we take Search. Guess we'll just not attack. If our opponent had Collected Company then, at least we can protect Narset, force them to play the Skyclave on the Narset. So it has 3, 4, 5, 6. So the Great Henge is 2 cheaper. So if they draw land, they can play Great Henge. So if we take out the Skyclave, then at least we can keep them off Great Henge for a little bit. And then next turn we get to Narset plus Azcanta. So we'll just do this now so we can attack. I guess we could give them the option of the trade. I'm happy to just trade these off. Yeah, I assume our opponent won't do that. Like. Maybe it's better to save the Mastery for another creature the opponent's got, but we get a 3/3 here. So I got a blocker for Narset next turn. Need to find another white source at some point. Okay, opponent didn't find a land. I guess Llanowar Elves like that. I think we're just going to attack for 3. I guess we'll use the Vantras. And we'll see if we can find an Absorb for next turn, since that'd be pretty sweet. I guess Memory Lapse will do. And we'll just hold up Memory Lapse. If our opponent goes to the Great Henge, then yeah, we've got the Memory Lapse. Though our opponent can't draw any more cards at the moment, so I guess it's fine. So our opponent gets to take Narset. Guess just allow our opponent to redraw it next turn. Get our extra activation of Narset. Then if our opponent takes Narset now, we're not really too bothered. Guess Teferi's good. Yeah, start taking over with Teferi. How it's done. So, on to sideboarding. How do we want to sideboard against our opponents on? They're just on like a mid-range creature matchup with Coco and the Great Henge. I guess that Aethergust is going to be good. You can put the Great Henge back. D-Spark would be okay as well. I guess our opponent's not really running 4 CMC stuff apart from the Great Henge, so maybe not so good. Can't imagine Kling being too good here. I like Liliana here. I like our Planeswalkers. Heartless Act bad against Scavenging Ooze. I guess like Eliminate's going to be excellent here because let me bring in Shadow's Verdict. Shadow's Verdict could be good as well, just with Collected Company, knowing that we're guaranteed to wipe away pretty much everything our opponent's got. Yeah, for the same reason, Inquisition's going to be good. Maybe we just don't want to run that many board wipes. Need to make some cuts. Difficult to make cuts. Maybe... See, maybe like trimming Memory Lapse. And like a Shark Typhoon, maybe? I think this is difficult. But we pretty much want everything, but we need to cut down to 60 cards somehow. And we have a ton of interaction already. Like, Memory Lapse is still good. Like, I would definitely want to run the Memory Lapse and the Shark Typhoon, but I think we just got to take the best of our cards. And I think keeping like Teferi and Liliana is probably right, just to be able to take over on turn 5 and 6. Okay, so we are on the draw this time, and this hand looks okay. A little bit dodgy mana, but we do have quite a bit of interaction, so we're going to keep this. Going to get to Inquisition turn 2, and then Aethergust turn 3. Hopefully it's enough to slow our opponent down.
Okay, opponent's going to put us off that for a little bit, actually. Thalia is rather annoying. Poor. Yeah. Tis not good. Would really like a board wipe. Yeah, Thalia is a good one. Frequently forgetting about Thalia. I think our lands all entering tapped here is pretty bad for us. Can take a bit of damage. Let's make up our lands. So 2 collected companies. Opponent does have to find a land. Skyclave we're not really worried about. We'll probably just take the Archon. And then, unfortunately, these don't get hit by Ether Gust. This might be a reason we actually want to maybe not board in the Ether Gusts. Yeah, I think I'm just going to aim to eliminate the Thalia here. See what our opponent's going to do. But yeah, I think... Do we want to eliminate Thalia? Or the Elite Spellbinder? Thalia is going to make our spells a bit cheaper. It means we'll be able to Inquisition or Ether Gust. And yeah, we'll do the Thalia. And then at least next turn we can Memory Lapse plus Ether Gust. So if our opponent just decides to hit us and then let us untap, then we get to do a few bits. So yeah, I don't mind our position here. Even get to... Do we want to take away this Skyclave? I mean, I don't think Inquisition's getting much better. Protects a potential Searchlight Canter. Or Narset. So our opponent gets to cast Collected Company. I guess we get to Ether Gust it, and then our opponent gets to do it in their turn if they want to. We get to Memory Lapse. Still dying on the board slowly. If our opponent goes for it now, yeah, this is even better. Like, just get to nullify 2 of our opponent's turns, but we're really looking for like a board wipe or something now. So I think we have to take that, go Liliana, and then just tick down with Liliana. And then hopefully we can just start ticking up with Liliana, making 2/2s and just create some blockers. Opponent gets to Collected Company. They get to back Collected Company. So hoping for a little bit of luck, but Liliana's pretty good. So yeah, we can go to 2 here, which I think we do. Play Teferi. Tuck like Mammoth. Yeah.
Good health is easy to find in war.
Oh wait, no. Oh no. It's 8 mana because Athalia's down. No. Okay, yeah, we just killed ourselves. It's unfortunate. I guess. Oh, actually, we should have castled first, shouldn't we? Yeah. Okay, this is not good. We will. I guess we'll activate castle. Or I guess we will full control. Yeah, that was a big mistake. So pass the blocks. Block Thalia first because Thalia has first strike. So we'll get to draw before the Mammoth deals damage to us. No. Oh, we should have done this the other way around. Please don't draw something. Okay, well, it doesn't matter. We didn't draw anything, but we should have 100% survived that turn. We should have, yeah, we should have ticked up Liliana. Yeah, my mistake. I forgot the Thalia makes the Teferi 1 more expensive. I was playing around it being 7 mana instead of 8. But yeah, misplays all around. I think like we're going to bring in the Shadow's Verdict. Maybe it's just another way to clear the board. And yeah, maybe we don't want Ether Gusts. Is there anything else we want to bring in? Like, it's okay. Like, I still think maybe keeping some number of them. Just, they hit Mammoths, they hit Love-Struck Beasts, like, I guess, Collected Companies. But we are on the play this time, so good chance we'll be able to maybe get under our opponent a little bit. But yeah, maybe just run it like this. and maybe not make such a big misplay this time. Okay, so we get to disrupt our opponent on turn 2 with Inquisition, since we have a Fetid Pools and not a Swamp. And I guess Memory Lapse on turn 3, or we could Memory Lapse on turn 2 if our opponent doesn't do anything. But this is one of them hands, if we don't draw lands, then it's pretty much over. So we're going to mulligan this and not put our faith in the Magic Gods, and we'll keep this. I guess we kind of want all of these. Maybe we just bottom, like, Swamp. And have faith that we are going to draw lands. Yeah, I think so. This hand's not particularly good as well, but I don't really want to mulligan to 5. And I don't think it's right to keep a 2-land hand, because it's just the odds of you just failing us so high, I think. That's a good one. Gonna definitely shock here so we can play this Absorb. But we got a nice curve. If our opponent taps down here, we get to just absorb something. And then next turn, I guess we just get to... We'll take another hit from the Aspirant, and then we get to Mastery in the end step. Yeah, sweet. And then hopefully we get to curve into Teferi. So yeah, I think we have to take the 4 here, fall to 14, just to see what our opponent does. But yeah, I'd really like to Mastery here. Yeah, I think this is fine just to let go and then just Mastery the Aspirant. I don't think there's any reason to... It doesn't really matter between these two since our opponent's running Collected Company. So it's probably better just to keep the cheaper removal spell. So if we... At least if we draw land here, we can... I guess it'd have to be a basic, but... Yeah. Yeah, it'd have to be a basic anyway. Because our land's enter tapped. But we'd get to go to Fairy into Eliminate. So we'll take 2. And it's playing Llanowar Elves. Yeah, I guess we'll just Mastery the Archon. Looks like our opponent's maybe stuck on lands as well. Probably still just going to hold back, aim to absorb or memory lapse something here. But we need to draw land. Had we have found land on time, we would have been able to play out a Fairy. We did put a Swamp on the bottom, so getting greedy again. I think I'm just going to stop this maybe. Yeah. If opponent collected companies here, then unfortunate. Okay, unfortunately this enters tapped. We could eliminate and then it will enter untapped, but there's like no point because we wouldn't play out a Fairy anyway. So we have a clear plan. We're going to eliminate maybe, and then memory lapse. So Teferi's not dying on the way back. I guess our opponent could activate Haship Oasis, but then... Yeah, I think it... Yeah, let's just eliminate the Archon. We know our opponent's not collected companying this turn. We'll play Teferi, we'll tick up, see what we find. If we find a 3-mana spell like Absorb, I guess we'll shock in. If not, we'll play this tapped. Yeah, Raph's going to be quite good at mopping up these Llanowar Elves. Hopefully we can recover from our misplay in the last game. That would be quite nice. So our Wrath is going to cost 2 more. So we still get to Wrath and then hold up Memory Lapse. So I quite like just letting this go then. Teferi takes 2, that's fine. So yeah, we'll tick up, we'll spend all of our mana to Wrath, and then just hold up Memory Lapse. And then hopefully our opponent just taps down for something. I mean, I'm like really not worried about this Archon. So I'm probably just going to let this go. Can only cast 1 spell a turn, but yeah, just not worried at all about this. It's going to take quite a few turns before it can finish off Teferi. Opponent's just going to scoop it up. Yeah, I think this matchup's very dependent, like a lot of matchups in Historic at the moment, with who goes on the play and draw. But had we not have made that misplay in the last game, I think there's a really good chance we would have actually taken over the game. We would have blocked the Mammoth, fallen to 2, got to draw a card, and then with Teferi, obviously, the next turn, if we draw lands or whatever, we found a land there. Search as Canter, yeah, we think we'd have taken over, but managed to get it in game 3. Okay, so we are on the draw against no companion, so no idea what we're against, with a 2-land hand. But we are on the draw this time. We have Cling to Dust to redraw and Shark Typhoon to redraw, so I think we're going to keep this. Also, worst case scenario is we could Baleful Mastery for 2 mana, if needs be. I think we won't shock this in. We're against Watery Grave, so it's unlikely that it's going to matter. Could be against Rogues, but probably unlikely to be Rogues. More likely to be Dimir control, I guess. If it was Rogues, I'd probably have Lurrus, their companion. But I assume we're just looking at like a Narset here, maybe. Okay, maybe not. Since we have our next land, we're not going to play Narset into potentially a counterspell here. But we'll Shark Typhoon for 1. Try and hit our next land drop. Yeah, looking incredibly like Dimir control here. Which I think has become more popular recently. Or I've noticed it's become more popular. We'll have to revisit our Dimir list and maybe try and make it work. Okay, so we'll just attack for 1. I'd love to make a 2/2 shark, but yeah, I don't really think there's any reason to shock. Maybe just to play the Baleful Mastery if we need to. Maybe we should have done that. Could also have Cling and countered. Yeah, kind of happy if our opponent just wants to eliminate here. So I assume this is their card in Foretells either saw it coming or the 4 mana draw spell. Nico defies destiny. No. Behold the multiverse, not Nico defies destiny. Yeah, we'll absorb here. Hoping, I guess, we could have shocked in to play around Censor here, because Censor is going to be unfortunate if that goes off. I saw it coming, so not much we could have done anyway. Maybe could have clinged. So if we top deck a land, we get to play Teferi. Sweet, get to play Teferi. Obviously, we don't get to... we'll tick up with Teferi, but we don't actually get to draw. So we'll just tick up and go from there. Get to untap and then just cling. Cling in our opponent's turn, obviously, because we can't draw an additional card in our turn. Okay, opponent's gone for another Saw It Coming. So I guess okay, now opponent's doing that. Do I have a land? No. Yeah, one of the worst plays I think, or the best plays our opponent could have made is if they have Baleful Mastery doing an R upkeep. So do we just tuck the Narset here? Could just play our own Narset. Feel like just tucking their Narset. Kind of feels bad though, because they're just going to redraw it and get to play it again. Opponent has 5 cards in hand. This is probably a counterspell. I guess we can play our Narset, and if that's a counterspell, then we get to Memory Lapse. I think it's unlikely that our opponent's playing Mystical Dispute. In the main. They'll probably have it after boarding. I would assume they would. So let's take down with Narset first. Probably take a Memory Lapse before an Inquisition, maybe? Yeah. And yeah, I think we'll tick up. And maybe pause in our opponent's upkeep. I've put a pause there. I guess we want to hold open the Memory Lapse, don't we? It's probably the better thing to do. Just thinking for Baleful Mastery. I think it may be in our opponent's end step, actually. We'll try and Mastery here for 2 mana. But we want to at least scare our opponent to doing nothing this turn. So we'll do this now. I guess if our opponent answers our Narset in response, it's a little bit worse. But then I assume they're tapping down and not answering our Teferi. We know they can't use their counterspell this turn, or the one they put in Foretell, because you can't cast a card Foretell on the same turn you put it into Foretell. So opponent's casting one from their hand instead, which actually works out great for us, because now we get to untap with both of our Planeswalkers intact, pretty much free reign. Grab another Narset. I think we're just going to remove this Narset, tick up, get our Teferi, and then we get to hold up Memory Lapse. I guess I'm kind of just looking for a land here. Yeah, a land would be really good. Just want to keep making sure we hit our land drops. And then, yeah, we get Memory Lapse up here. So for our opponent to do, they have to do something impactful because we have a Teferi, but like here, I'm just gonna Memory Lapse here. Our opponent's forced to counter this. And then again, they're tapped down for their turn. Probably just looking at like maybe playing another Narset out here. Okay, there's the Behold. There's not really much we can draw from Narset that can answer the other Narset. But I still think we're going to do it because we could hit a Absorb. Yeah, and Absorb is what we hit. So we're just going to tick up and sort of threaten the ultimate next turn. I assume in our opponent's hand they've got to have some way to deal with it, but it's whether they can answer it through a counterspell. I guess Inquisition's going to do a good job of getting rid of our counterspell here. So we are going to I guess just holding off the information is better at this point. We could just let our opponent take the Absorb and then we get to Cling. Opponent's gonna, yeah, I'm just gonna allow our opponent to have a look. Maybe a little bit bad because they know we have double Wrath of God and Heartless Act, which are essentially dead cards. But if our opponent has a Baleful Mastery here, they get to just kill our Teferi. Oh, yeah, opponent, sorry. 4 mana to scry 2. Yeah, I think they're going to concede to that. Yeah. Not sure what they could have here. Fail to find as well. Gonna just straight away ultimate this. Yeah, I have no idea what happened there. Our opponent's playing Narset themselves. Maybe just like blanked for a second. I mean, it definitely happens to me. Gonna bring in our Fort Seizes, though our opponent is on Dimir. Fort Distortion, Dovin's Veto. And I don't know what our opponent's running. Maybe Shark Typhoon that D-Spark can hit. But until we see something, probably not going to bring that in. Heartless Act's okay for Shark Typhoons. Probably going to keep it in. But that being said, we do have like Liliana, our own Shark Typhoons, Baleful Mastery. It's something that Azorius and Jeskai struggle a little bit more on, I think, is answering Shark Typhoon in the mirror matchup without keeping in dead cards like Wrath of God and Baffling End, because they have to keep them in really to answer Shark Typhoons some occasions. But they're dead against everything else. But Esper doesn't have that problem really, because a lot of its removal in the form of Heartless Act and like Baleful Mastery is pretty good answers to what our opponent's up to anyway. Maybe cut the Clings. For opponents running Searcher's Canto, Cling gets a little bit better, but we are bringing in Fort Distortion, and we kind of just want this hand hate early. I don't really know what else we could bring in. Maybe we want to bring in like D-Spark, but I kind of like the list configuration like this, so probably just going to run it back. Yeah, I think this hand looks okay. Outside of our opponent having a Fort Distortion, we should be able to slow down whatever they're up to. Opponent's going to get to look at our hand here. Hopefully they don't have many more counter spells, hand hate spells. If you want to play around a Fort Seize or Inquisition, just leave the card you want on top of your deck. Not bad, not bad. Yeah, I don't know what happened last game with they just cast Behold the Multiverse and then fetched and didn't find a land. Strange things happening. Opponent's going to like Behold now. No. Opponent just tapped a mana and then just... I don't know what opponent's up to. Like, they just tap land and then let it pass. I mean, opponent's in Mythic, so they know how to play. Opponent's Beholding. They could have a Mystical Dispute here, but I think I'm just willing to risk them having a Mystical Dispute. Get out of the hand now, I guess. And if not, we sort of waste more of our opponent's mana. I don't mind this exchange. Opponent's really risky, though. If we had a Narset in hand, then it doesn't work out too well for them. Gonna keep playing our untapped lands. Give our opponent a little bit less information. I'm probably just going to cycle a Shark Typhoon this turn, providing we don't have to use a counter spell. Okay, so opponent was able to find a land this time. Opponent could easily have a removal spell for our Shark, so I probably don't want to risk it. Probably just cast the Memory Lapse, and if our opponent has like Mystical Dispute or something, well, I guess actually we can't counter it. We didn't lay an additional blue. Probably should have done that last turn. Yeah, I need to get more blue sources down. I think I am going to just risk the Shark Typhoon cycle here. And then if our opponent answers that, at least we get to resolve Teferi with a Dovin's Veto. We've got another Narset. Yeah, Narset's a really good answer to Teferi. Doesn't necessarily stop him, but like we saw last game, still can get to the ultimate, but definitely good at slowing him down. So let's go to combat, attack, try and take the Narset. I think I want to wait one more turn. If our opponent plays an Narset, they have to still answer the Shark, otherwise they just 1-for-1 trade. Oof. Yeah, I mean, this is what happens, isn't it? This is what happens on a frequent basis. Fort Distortion. So we're going to scry and we're going to hope to hit Teferi here. I don't think Memory Lapse is going to be enough. Like Fort Distortion of Own would be great. Yeah, feels so bad. Yeah, don't know how many Fort Distortions our opponent's running. I guess that was only a 3-for-1. We've had Fort Distortions that's like 5 or 6 for 1 dust. So opponent's going to get to resolve their Shark Typhoon. Teferi. Yeah, we've got a Shark Typhoon of our own. I'm going to keep the Shark Typhoon. Outside of Commit to Memory, I don't imagine our opponent has many answers to bouncing a Shark Typhoon, but I still think we're going to cycle it. Get to cycle it for 6. So if our opponent like taps down, well, I guess they'll have a Shark to block from casting this Narset. But yeah, just going to cycle Shark Typhoon here and try and get an extra card. Just see what's going on. Oh no. Opponent's just making a 6/6 Shark and bouncing our Shark, I guess. So I guess our Shark's just going to trade with theirs. Is there any point, like... Yeah, we have enough removal spells for this Shark. Hopefully, we saw Fatal Push from them last game, so hopefully they don't have one in their hand here. I don't know, Fort Distortions is a really good card against us. Opponent's got some goodies there. And takes Torrential Gearhulk. Don't think we want to attack. Maybe we want to attack. Opponent's going to get Task Narset and make a 3/3 next turn. Yeah, I don't think we can attack here. So we get to memory lapse, I guess, and then activate Castle Vantress. Opponent's just going for an extinction event. Guess we gotta let this go off. Then I assume they just cast an Narset. Let's see what we draw before we decide if we're going to memory lapse or not. Liliana's good. I mean, I like Liliana and Teferi. Could memory lapse here and then Teferi tick it. Well, I guess let's do it this way actually. And then put this Narset back, I guess. Opponent gets another Shark off of it next turn, but kind of slow our opponent down a little bit. Maybe it's better to hold the memory lapse for a removal spell. Just going to tick up here.
If I were you, I'd rise and shine.
Maybe it's correct just to let the Narset resolve. Because the opponent gets the extra 3/3, which is going to really threaten Teferi. And threaten Liliana as well. Opponent's got Mystical Dispute up. Still play around it, but... So we can lose our Liliana to take 2 away. I guess we can Teferi, tuck Narset. It just doesn't feel good. Anything we do here feels pretty bad. What was the down point of this game? I guess the Fort Distortion. We were in a pretty good situation before our opponent had that. So we can play Teferi. Opponent could like Mystical Dispute anyway. If Teferi comes down, we're losing him either way. Opponent can take out both of our Planeswalkers as well. Yeah, it's probably game over. Maybe we could play that out, but I don't know. I think the Fort Distortion just 3-for-1ing us with our counter spells was pretty bad. Opponent went for the hard cast Shark Typhoon. I think we might bring in the D-Sparks to answer Shark Typhoon, Torrential Gear Hulk. I guess that's maybe it. Maybe we don't want to bring in D-Spark actually. Doesn't feel too good like sitting on all of our counter spells though without Hand Hate being able to take away Fort Distortion. But maybe we just got to hope that our opponent doesn't draw their copy of it, because we have a copy of it as well. There's every chance we would draw it. Maybe it just didn't play out that well and we need to run it back and see how we go. Okay, we are on the play, and Dimir is definitely struggles to answer Search for Escanter, and the fact we have 2 in our opening hand means that even through a Thoughtseize or Inquisition, we're going to be able to play one of these, so probably losing our Narset to some Hand Hate. But our opponent doesn't have any. Yeah, Search for Escanter is a good one to get down early. Hopefully it's going to apply quite a bit of pressure to our opponent. Force them to do something. We can't sit back on our counter spells all day. Also, having extra lands in hand is quite nice, because it means... Oh, that's nice for our opponent. It means we can put some lands into the graveyard. Gonna keep a counter spell though. Play Narset. Just get Narset down while we can. I assume our opponent uses the opportunity to get down a Narset if they have one as well. Take Thoughtseize instead of Inquisition, since life doesn't matter too much in this matchup. And we'd rather take that Fort Distortion if we can. Yeah, I assume we see a Narset here as well. You know it. Ah, opponent chose not to tick down. I'm going to graveyard that. Still likely we'll draw lands at some point. There we go. Let's Thoughtseize before we tick down our Narset. Because if our opponent has like multiple Fort Distortions or something, then feel bad. Yeah, we'll just take this Fort Distortion. Not waste any time with it. Have one counter spell. Do we just want more? It's like Shark Typhoon's a little bit more proactive though. Gives us a little bit of card advantage. Gets us closer to flipping our search. Just find Narset. Just digs us a bit deeper. I guess we've got Search as counter. Yeah, I feel like just taking a second counter spell here. Not sure which is correct. Could be right just to take the Shark Typhoon and then we get to cycle Shark Typhoon, hit for 1 in the end step and then hit the Narset. Strange that our opponent decided not to tick down, because we could have had some answers to that Narset. Opponent's taking one of our counter spells here, aren't they? And then they're going to foretell. But I guess they're not casting the foretell this turn. Yeah, we'll just keep the... I think it's probably worth it just to keep the information hidden here, because we're not doing anything else. We're not cycling this Fetid Pools. So they get to tick down. I guess they could find something to do here. Yeah, it looks like a pretty standard Dimir list. I guess they could Field of Ruin us here to get a black source. Yeah, Graveyard extra Heartless Act. I mean, Heartless Act really doesn't feel that good here. I don't know if we're cycling Fetid Pools. I mean, I kind of hope and obviously don't hope that our opponent casts another Behold the Multiverse here. I assume they begin with Inquisition.
I have just the trick for this.
Okay, saw it coming. Yeah, just let this go. I probably am going to cycle this Fetid Pools now between our draw for turn and the draw of Fetid Pools. Good chance we'll find a land. It also gives us the opportunity to maybe flip Search as Cantor on our turn. Okay, so maybe put their other counter spell in Foretell. I know in previous lists we've actually struggled to beat Dimir, but we have a shot here. I'm going to graveyard that. Flip our Search as Cantor. I guess in case we find like well, not really Mystical Dispute, but maybe like Absorb. Could find some things maybe they want to do. I don't know if the life's going to matter too much. Opponent chose not to keep Fort Distortion, maybe knowing that 2 of the cards... We've already flipped our Search as Cantor, and 2 of the cards in our hand doesn't really care about Fort Distortion. We would love to find a Fort Distortion on the other hand off of this as Cantor, since it would it would stop our opponent from transforming their as Cantor. Wouldn't take the Torrential Gearhulk, unfortunately. Yeah, let's take a veto. I guess we'll hold up double veto. Yeah, double veto and an as Cantor activation. If opponent Torrentials here, they can't really get anything back. Yeah, scry 2, draw 1 is fine. They are going to get to flip their as Cantor. We did get ours online a little bit earlier, so maybe that's going to help a little bit. Okay, Four.Vs. Yeah, I mean, our opponent's taken one of our Dovin's vetoes. May as well keep the other one hidden. They might think that we've run out of them now. Okay, opponent's going for the torrential. I'm kind of happy for. I mean, we could hit Fort Distortion off of this. We could hit Memory Lapse off of this. Yeah, I mean, do we even want to cast the Memory Lapse though? Like, I'd rather just have the veto. I mean, yeah, opponent can scry too if they want to. It feels really weird to tap down there. If we hit, like, they know we have the Heartless Axe, so we didn't even have to activate Searcher's Canter. And if we hit a Planeswalker there, like Teferi or Liliana, like, opponent's just kind of a bit done. I guess we're going to Shark Typhoon here. Yeah, we'll just hardcast a Shark Typhoon. And then we have veto for what our opponent's up to. This way, if our opponent Fort Distorts us, then at least we have something going on. And like we said earlier, outside of Commit to Memory, I wouldn't imagine that our opponent's running too many answers to this. They could be running like Brazen Borrower, but it doesn't work with Searcher's Canter, it doesn't work with Narset. There's a reason you probably don't want to include it into your list. So opponent gets to Fort, sees us. Yeah, I think we're going to let our opponent have a look at our hand. They'll take one of these vetoes. And then at least we get to stop the next non-creature spell that our opponent casts. Yeah, they might be trying to tap down. Ooh, yeah, it's a good one. Do we just go for Liliana? Opponent could definitely have double counterspell, but I guess they don't get to activate Searcher's Canter this turn. Let's Canter the Sunken Ruin. And if our opponent counters the Liliana and then counters it again after we cast Dovin's Veto, then at least we're left with 8 power in play. So yeah, we'll counter here, and if our opponent wants to counter back, that's fine. We'll lose our Liliana, maybe not.
Let us march into battle and make new comrades.
Opponent does get to activate their counter now.
Rise.
We know that they have Extinction Event, or it looks like they whiffed. We know they have Extinction Event, so they definitely could have an answer to our entire board. Yeah, looks like our opponent was maybe digging for an Extinction Event there. But sweet, something that the other lists haven't managed to do yet. I think we played Dimir a few times over the last week or so. And yeah, we've been struggling. Provided our opponent did make some mistakes. We actually made some as well, though. But maybe it was a bit even. But yeah, managed to come out on top. Yeah, missing black mana from this hand. But we do get to cycle our Shark Typhoons. But 2 lands again. I think every game so far we've had 2 land hands maybe on our opening. And then we mulligan and get 3 or 4. So let's see if we stay on theme. Here we go. Maybe this is just the way it's supposed to work. But we will keep this and maybe bottom this Cling. We don't know if it's going to be relevant in this matchup. We'll swamp an Inquisition as well, just to disrupt our opponent. Oh, what is our opponent on? Grixis? I mean, we don't care about any of these cards, do we? Guess we take the Eliminate because it answers Narset. Yeah. Kind of disappointed we bottomed the Cling now. Really wish we put the Wrath of God on the bottom, but not much you can do. Yeah, unfortunate. Glad our opponent doesn't have any hand hate. Not sure if we're cycling the second Fetid Pools. We'll hold on to it for now. If we draw land next turn, then I'll probably cycle it. This is not a matchup that we want to flood out on. Yeah, we're gonna cycle this, I guess. I mean, this Chandra might be a bit of an issue. Chandra in the main, though, I haven't seen this being played in a while. I've seen it in the sideboards of some lists. Yeah, we'll cycle here. Could hit like... Okay, opponent's gonna scoop it up, I guess. No interest in playing against Okay, no interest in playing against us at all. Looks like Esper winning by default. Maybe we'll get a sick game in because of this. Okay, so sticking on the theme of having 1 and 2 land hands, we're going to mulligan this. It would be nice if we didn't have to take a mulligan in one of our games. Probably going to keep this and put this Liliana on the bottom. As much as I love Liliana, I'd love to keep her. Probably not a card we need early game. Okay, so opponent's on, like, Bant, maybe. Bant, Yorion, Sky Nomad. Mono green. You never know. Tons of things going around in Historic at the moment. Interesting format at the moment. Okay, I guess we'll see all of our opponent's colours here. Okay, Sultai. So, Sultai Ultimatum, I would assume, then. Pretty smells like a Sultai Ultimatum list. Would like to have a counterspell at the ready, just so we can stop this Ultimatum when it comes in. I assume our opponent's on Ultimatum, but opponent just looking to ramp, but not looking to draw any cards. Narset Static is just worth its weight in gold at the moment. In between like lists like this and the Archon list and Arclight Phoenix lists, like, yeah. I think we're just gonna maybe get our value. Kling's okay. Probably just gonna look to cycle a Shark Typhoon this turn. Yeah, Narset is just worth her weight in gold. Opponent's desperate to get rid of the Narset. How much is the static hurting them? I think we're going to let it go. We've already got our value. The static could be hurting them quite bad, but if Uro was still in the format, then yeah, I'd probably not be allowing that to resolve. But at least now we have 2 counterspells up. I assume our opponent's just running this maybe for the, yeah, that's fine. Just for the colour fixing rather than the ability to tutor gods. If they are running it for the ability to tutor gods, then I'm excited to see what they've got. Assume it doesn't matter. We only have 2 cards in our graveyard. Yeah, we've got a load of answers, but haven't got too much going on really. Yeah, I think our opponent maybe made a whoopsie with Narset and Growth Spiral. Okay, so no lands, maybe land for turn, but no. Okay, at least we get to play Vantress here, and we get to start activating, trying to find something of relevance. Want to find something proactive to do here. We're sitting on quite a few dead cards, I think. These 4 are pretty much dead cards. I mean, we've got an answer to their Yorion, but outside of that, I guess like some Planeswalkers our opponent could have. But I guess ultimately we're just trying to stop this Ultimatum when it comes down, if they are an Ultimatum. Yeah. I think we just try and use one of these masteries and hold our counter spells back.
Keep an open mind.
Okay, Brainstorm. And take out its Narset. Just get 2 for 1, it's fine.
I shall miss your company.
Slowly getting closer to being able to escape this Cling. Yeah, I assume from our opponent's list they're on Sultai Ultimatum, but we haven't seen the Ultimatum yet. Interesting that they're not holding their lands to cycle. Yeah, we're definitely going to get our use of this Wrath of God if we can. Got it, may as well use it. Teferi, Narset, Liliana, yep. Yeah, I think we just Wrath, wait another turn. Opponent could have hand hate. They've had... Actually, no, they haven't had any hand hate so far. Yeah, no hand hate so far. I guess we could have played Teferi as well if we wanted to, but I don't want to tap down here. I think maybe just repeat again. We could Mastery here, actually. Yeah, we'll Mastery, actually. We'll let our opponent do their Omen shenanigans first. And then we'll Mastery here. It might be correct just to get rid of the Wrath of God, but they are running like Elder Gargroths and that, so it's likely they could have other creatures. But I like playing Teferi on an open board with 2 counter spells up, rather than having to Wrath of God and then play Teferi, hope your opponent doesn't have a counter, and then only get to hold up 1. I presume our opponent has an answer, but might get a few activations. So if our opponent's got a big flashy play, I assume they make it now. Let's have we gone past no counter spells so far? Yeah, I don't think our opponent's running counter spells in the main. It's just they don't have the information of the absorb. Yeah, we'll stop it. I'd like an extra activation of this Teferi if we can. An opponent can't cast Ultimatum this turn. We get to dig. We get a draw for turn, dig 4 with Narset, and uptick with Teferi to find an answer. Though I'm maybe just happy to let our Teferi go with this next binding. Yeah, especially since we drew the extra one. Kind of want to reset our opponent. Yeah, absorb is great. And we'll shock again. Yeah, I could maybe just let this binding go. Since we have the second Teferi, and then just go for a Shark Typhoon. It'd be 2, 4, 6, 7. Yeah, to start pressuring our opponent on that axis instead. Can also cast Cling. Opponent's got 1 card in hand. So just make a big shark here. Equally, we could cast Shark Typhoon, but if our opponent running Binding of the Old Gods, probably don't want to be casting it. Yeah, you got like a push or something here, Heartless Act. Sweet, so opponent's empty-handed. Let's dig, hopefully for another counterspell. Yeah, Memory Lapse is great. I feel like I've probably got this locked away now. Whatever our opponent draws, we get to Memory Lapse and then get to uptick our Teferi again. Then we've got Absorb for the next turn.
Let's slow this down. Let's skip to the good part.
Opponent's just doing some scrying. I think they're going to need something really special to get out of this. That being said, if their plan is to activate... We haven't seen any gods yet, I don't think, but if their plan is to activate the World Tree, then that could get them out of this. Probably just going to scry. think memory lapse is fine. Take up.
Hold that thought.
Playing as Canter. I think our opponent scryed to the top. Okay, it was an Omen. Probably just Inquisition our opponent here. It's unlikely that Inquisition's going to have any value now. So may as well just have a look at what our opponent draws. If it's an Omen, then they just get to scry with it. Fable Passage, nice. Opponent gonna sack probably the Omen here. Have a little scry, but we've got the next 3 spells that got covered. I think our opponent's out here is Fort Distortion, which always seems to be the opponent's out because we run so many counter spells. Untap, untap. Yeah, kind of just looking for Liliana, maybe ultimating our Teferi, finding our last Shark Typhoon. Okay, opponent's scrying that. Placed 1 on top, so they chose to, whatever was on top, they definitely wanted. They drew something relevant. I'm going to scry again. Yeah, I don't need any of these, just digging towards win condition out.
Hurry.
Pretty, yeah, just going to double activate Search as Cancer to try and find something much quicker. Yeah, I'm going to let our opponent have a redraw. I don't know if you keep Growth Spiral on top if you're the opponent and you're scrying into that. I think I personally put it on the bottom since it's the same as another draw, but that way Growth Spiral you have to wait to your opponent's turn to use, and yeah. Feels a little bit bad for them. Shark Typhoon's great. Do we want to do it now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can do it for 5. It's like a 3-turn clock. 4-turn clock. Find Liliana, I guess, a little bit quicker. Liliana's there. 22 cards left in the library. It's been a while since I've assembled these 3 Planeswalkers before. I think Liliana probably is a mistake in this list. I mean, it's a nice angle of attack, like getting to make creatures, and it's like such a high loyalty when it comes down, but I think ultimately it's probably a bit cute. Discard. But yeah, pretty... Yeah, I'm just not going to cut it here. Not sure what our opponent's running. Maybe just Sultai good stuff, but they haven't seen an ultimatum. I feel like they've been relatively unfortunate not to find one. But at least they played it out to the end. Like, fair play on them. But sweet. I'm thinking like Narsets, Nissas, like Elder Gargaroth, Yorion, maybe Ultimatum. Do you want like Ether Gust? I honestly don't know what we're running in this matchup. I feel like Wrath of God's probably not too good. All of our removal sort of answers what our opponent's up to. I think we're going to assume that our opponent's on Ultimatum. That's probably the best way. I'm bringing these Fort Caesars as well. Don't need Eliminate. Do we want Dovin's Veto or D-Spark? I feel like D-Spark could be something we want. Don't know what we're like trimming for it. Maybe the Cling to Dust. Doesn't feel like our opponent's utilising their graveyard. Yeah, maybe run out like this. Like, I could definitely see like Dovin's Veto being something we want. If it's guaranteed that our opponent's on Ultimatum, then I'll probably bring in the Vetoes. But as it stands, I don't want to bring in too much that we don't necessarily need. It looked like between Absorb and Memory Lapse, we were able to lock that away that game. So see if we can do the same thing. Okay, so with a surprising turn of events, we actually have an opening hand that we can keep. So we are going to keep this. We even drew our 5th land. Our luck could be turning. So our opponent's going to maybe take, I'm not sure. Probably just not going to tap down this turn. Wait one more turn. No reason to rush it. Guess, let's allow land. I don't know if there's any like disadvantage. Hold on, Memory Lapse first, I guess. But let's have a look at our opponent's hand. Might give us some information. I like that our opponent omens beforehand. We get to see what they draw. If they scry both to the top, then it might be an issue because they could be protecting one of their cards. Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah, okay, Ultimatum, extra turns, yeah. We suspected as much, but now this has been confirmed. So I think Dovin's vetoes are going to be something we want to bring in. Gonna shock here so we can hold up multiple bits of interaction. Again, same thing. I'd like to scry Castle Vantress if we have the opportunity. Really hope our opponent just taps down here. We get to Memory Lapse, then we get to play Liliana. I guess we're actually probably not going to make that play. Oh! It always happens. Okay. Yep. You got it, opponent. Take our hopes and dreams with you, and we're going to try and hit a counterspell here so we don't get ultimatumed next turn. Yeah, I'm even getting top deck as such as Canter. Not at this point. I think most of the games we've played today we've been Fort Distorted. It feels that way. So opponent essentially gets to make 2 1/1s and make an extra land drop. So we'll allow this. Well, we have to stop the ultimatum, I think. Otherwise we're in the same situation next turn. Opponent could have like Mystical Dispute, number of things. I think this game's pretty much over. Fort Distortion is such a back-breaking card when you're playing the sort of list we are. If we got down our Liliana or something, it might have been a bit different. Because we'd have at least had something on the board. If our opponent has a counterspell here, we're just going to concede. Yeah. Sweet, yeah. Ultimatum is normally a list that we do not struggle with if our opponent does not find Fort Distortion. Is Fort Distortion something we want to bring in against our opponent? Like, I don't think so. Yeah, okay. We're running... Maybe we're taking out the Inquisitions. Doesn't hit anything that we actually want to hit. But we're bringing in them Dovin's vetoes. D-Sparks feel okay. Yeah, we need to get down a Planeswalker like Teferi or Liliana. Maybe a Big Shark or something before our opponent can Fort Distort us. If they're only running 1 or 2 of these. So there's every chance they won't draw it. But we need to resolve something of relevance before they Fort Distort us. Otherwise, yeah, we're going to be stuck like that. Okay, so we are on the play for game 3. And I think we're going to keep this. Not great, we don't have double blue, but we do have like a Shark Typhoon we can cycle, so... Would have been nice to have some interaction turn 1, like a Thoughtseize. We are only running the 2 copies though, so can understand why I wouldn't have one. Okay, so there's every possibility that our opponent has a growth spiral here, so we're just going to go with Narset. If our opponent has a Mystical Dispute, then they have a Mystical Dispute. They're not casting... I guess they actually could have. They could have punished us by going growth spiral into untapped blue land. And what's our opponent naming? Okay, so we get to make a 2/2 zombie. The opponent gets to look at our hand. Yeah, this is definitely one of the better of these effects. Just because your opponent doesn't get to draw, they only get to make a 2/2 zombie. But personally, I've never been a fan of these unless you're targeting like a really specific thing that your opponent's trying to do in like a combo list. Like if I was to use that against our opponent naming Ultimatum, then that would be an example of when I'd really like it. But there's no like guarantee. Yeah, we're just gonna let this resolve, I guess. There's absolutely no guarantee that your opponent will draw the card that you name with that. So in a way, it could just feel like an absolutely wasted card in some situations. I guess we'll just use the more expensive of the two. Well, the joke's on our opponent if they have a Fort Distortion in hand, because we don't have any cards really for you to distort away. But on the downside, we have like nothing going on. This would have been a reason to obviously use the D-Spark. Now we draw it. I'm going to smack this, and then here our opponent.
Contain your
rage. So yeah, let's have a look at what our opponent's playing with. Gonna Growth Spiral now. We shall allow it. Or 2 Ultimatums and Scholar. Scholar's 7 mana. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if opponent draws land, they get to Scholar. And you get to cast an instant sorcery. We can't answer that. I think we're gonna have to take Scholar instead. Because if we take an Ultimatum anyway, the Scholar is essentially another Ultimatum, so yeah, kind of got to take Scholar here. Just gonna go straight our opponent. Gonna hope that what we've got's enough here. Gonna counter pretty much whatever our opponent does. Yeah. Don't want our opponent just making 1/1s to be able to chump. I mean, our opponent should be able to kill us here, but we're coming really, really close. Opponent knows he's got a D-Spark in hand. I think they just go with Ultimatum and completely hope here. I would like to say that had we not have attacked the Narset, we would have had lethal, because obviously we spent 2 damage attacking it down to 1, but they would have got an extra activation with Narset, so there's every opportunity that they found something to do. If we... this is just... oh. We can't give them Omniscience, can we? Because they have another Sultai Ultimatum in hand. So I think we have to put Omniscience back in, but yeah, they're going to get an extra turn anyway and get to cast. Well, so yeah, I guess we just give them... But then if we give them these two, then our opponent gets a tutor for any card and cast that card, so they just target another Scholar or Ultimatum. Pretty much done here, so... I feel like we don't give them Omniscience. Oh, I made such a big mistake. Should have given them Omniscience. Should have absolutely given them Omniscience because of D-Spark. Yeah, 100% should have given them Omniscience and then saw how they did the stack. Because a Sultai Ultimatum is a sorcery, our opponent could very much have put the Omniscience on the stack second, and then it would have resolved first, which means we could have D-Sparked the Omniscience before our opponent got to resolve. I probably would have given them Final Parting. They would have resolved Final... I'd have probably given them the extra turn spell, actually. So they'd have no, I'd have had to have given them Final Parting, because the extra turn spell would have allowed them to just cast the extra Sultai Ultimatum. Oh, we're making some misplays today. Yeah, incredibly close game either way. I think we just draw like one bit of interaction too little. Yeah, I don't know how we win here, because I think Foreign Colexis isn't good as well. Okay, so opponent stacked it correctly. So opponent will get to cast one of their spells for free. Hopefully it isn't a Sultai Ultimatum. I mean, there's actually like a good chance that we should be just hitting the Vorinclex here. But I think Vorinclex essentially reads at the moment a just a 6 mana 6/6 of haste and trample, which I guess is like still strong. Okay, Sublime Epiphany. So we couldn't have, had we have made the, it's actually nice to know, had we have made the play that I said earlier, it wouldn't have mattered because our opponent had Sublime Epiphany. So the Omniscience would have been in play anyway. But our opponent's out of cards. We have a draw step to get out of this. Don't think Absorb is going to cut it. I mean, we just trade this for 2 birds, so probably just sitting back. It's pretty much over though, but let's cast Yorion. Opponent has nothing in hand. Literally came so close. No, so close. We don't even get to redraw, do we? So I guess we attack here. Opponent 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we attack. Opponent, I assume, trades 2 birds for it. Block of everything just in case. Makes sense. Take 7 on the way back. Get to cycle Fetid Pools, but yeah, there's nothing we can draw. Don't believe. Our hope is that our opponent draws land every turn for the rest of the game, and we get to draw something. Let's cycle now. It's a little bit worse if opponent hits that Inquisition or Four.Vs, but yeah, I guess just allow Omen. Just got to save this Absorb for anything. I mean, we're playing through the Omniscience. Our opponent hasn't just won the game. I mean, yeah, these are just cantrips that are free at this point. Should we have shocked in our Godless Shrine to play around Mystical Dispute? Fallen to 1. Okay, we have an answer to the Vorinclex. Like, you can imagine our opponent with all the drawing they just did, they've got to have something on top of Omniscience. Are they going to use this Omen to bottom here? Yeah. So they're using the Omen to clear what was on top. I mean, our opponent's drawing nothing. Like, so Omniscience, you can cast all your spells for free, but they essentially have infinite mana anyway. So, yeah, just really hoping here again. I don't think there's any way we can get out of this, but our opponent's on 2 life, so I'm hanging in there. And they've cast 2 Sultai Ultimatums, got 2 extra turns, so... I assume they should have won the game. We are on a 5-turn clock. Yeah, I mean, these sort of situations, it's okay when you draw something relevant the turn or 2 after, but we're just not drawing anything. Not going to have Four.Vs and kill ourselves. Okay, now opponent's scrying extra. Yeah, not going to matter the Two.Vs veto when we're dying to this 1/1 bird. Yeah, like I said, that it's nice to know that our misplay didn't necessarily cost us because Omniscience, they had the Sublime Epiphany. Okay, 2 cards on top for our opponent. Might get to gain some life with this Absorb. Yeah, I think just got to allow this. I mean, there's a line as to like, do you cast Absorb just to gain the life in case your opponent doesn't have an extra spell, but they're topping stuff, so yeah, we'll try. Let's go up to 5. Turn this into a 5-turn clock. Come on, deck. Give us something. Come on, deck. Give us something. Anything. Anything that we can do. Okay, opponent's going to upkeep Scry. All their spells are free. No reason not to. Opponent's bottom in a lot. Like 33 cards left. I presume they've got to have stuff they can do still. We haven't seen their Fort Distortion yet. I mean, what? We're going to get one activation with the Search Canter? At this point, if we draw Liliana or Teferi, though, we must tuck this bird. Yeah, we'll graveyard that and transform. I mean, activate, yep. We're forced into backs into a corner here. Got a Heartless Act. Opponent's bottom like so many cards now. I mean, I was literally hovering over the concede button like 11 turns ago. Opponent could very much have Fort Seizures of their own. Start with a Memory Lapse. Opponent redraw it. I guess we'll hold as Canter. Probably cycling this Fetid Pools. Dovin's Veto makes me feel a little bit better. We just get to straight answer this Liliana. So let's activate first. Get Liliana of our own. Okay, so the plan, there might actually be a way out. So what, we play Liliana, we tick up, make our 2-2, then we have Lethal on our opponent next turn. And if our opponent stops Liliana, interacts with the 2-2, then we can at least make a 2-2 Shark and still hold up Dovin's Veto. Okay. Step 1. Are we gonna get there? I feel like we might actually get there. Okay, so yeah, gonna just have to let this go. We're not gonna get to draw again, but we gotta hold this Dovin's Veto, I think, for maybe our opponent answering our Liliana, or maybe something they do, because Dovin's Veto is like one of our best answers against whatever our opponent's got at the moment. We've only got 3 vetoes. This is our last one. Could have maybe cast the Shark Typhoon as well. Could have been an option. Okay, think we're letting the binding go? Or are we Dovin's vetoing the binding? If our opponent had something better, they would have cast something better by now. So if we Dovin's veto the binding, we then get to still cast a Shark Typhoon. And we have Liliana. No, we're gonna let the binding go. And our opponent needs 2 good spells here.
Death won't conquer me so easily.
Okay, here we go. Is there any reason to make the shark any bigger? Opponent could gain life, maybe. I don't know. We'll make a 3/3 shark. Then we still get to hold up veto. And if our opponent like gains 1 life somehow. Okay, now we get to activate Azcanta as well. Oh my god, are we going to do it? Going to combat? Attack? Oh my god, we took it down through 2 Sultai through 2 of the ultimatums. Oh my god. Wow, we played for an Omniscience for like 11 or 12 turns, and our opponent got how many activations of Castle Vantress, and we managed to get there in the end. Oh my god, like, played through Liliana, played through all of the extra turn spells, they took all of our Teferis, multiple hits of Vorinclex, like, oh, yes. Okay, yeah, Esper Control, maybe there is something to this, maybe. So, still high from our Sultai Ultimatum win, and our opponent's on a mulligan. We're currently 4-0 with Esper, which is not something we've done with a control list for a little bit. We normally get 1 loss somewhere. Even through bad hands, we've done pretty well. So, I think we're going to take a mulligan here. We're not going to risk it in the final game. We're going to mulligan this away. And yeah, this hand is really good. Gonna bottom the Teferi, not going to bottom one of these lands. We've definitely got greedy in some of our games today, bottoming our 4th land and then not drawing land. But yeah, we'll have a look at our opponents on. They ended up mulliganing to 6, it looks like. Yeah, I guess we get to hold up Memory Lapse either way next time. Yeah, I guess we just take the Burning Tree. Think it makes the most amount of sense. Opponent probably goes Pelt Collector into Volcanic Brawler. And then I guess we're taking using Inquisition to take the On-Crop Crasher and then laying tap land rather than Memory Lapsing the On-Crop Crasher. We've definitely got the potential to beat... I said we was putting Teferi in the bottom, but we put Shark Typhoon on the bottom actually. Probably, maybe should have kept Shark Typhoon. Okay, so opponent decided to take a different line of play than what we expected. Probably just going to take this Volcanic Brawler then, since we don't have a removal spell for the On-Crop Crasher. Yeah, maybe Shark Typhoon would have been better to keep. Okay, top decked another haste threat. Definitely not great about that. We're gonna just lay tap land here, Memory Lapse something maybe, and then Mastery one of the On-Crop Crashers, but we're going to be taking quite a bit of damage this turn. Could allow our opponent to redraw here. Taking 7. Yeah, I think... I don't really want to allow our opponent redraw. Now we have to. I guess not that one. Yeah, maybe it's best to just do this. Then I guess our opponent gets to follow up in the end step with Pelt Collector. Yep, just dead if our opponent goes to combat. Yeah, just didn't have any early interaction in the form. We kept a hand. Maybe Shark Typhoon would have been better. Oh, actually, we get to survive now. But yeah, I think our opponent should have just gone to combat there. Yeah, against Gruul, I think we had an okay hand, but just opponent got down some early threats, and we didn't really have removal spells for that. But we definitely have the potential to kill Gruul. But yeah, 4 and 4 just back to back is going to be enough. Unfortunately, we have to just throw away Teferi here. Opponent could have Stomp here, could have a number of haste threats. So we're hoping to top deck Wrath of God. Yep. Opponent might play around Settle, I guess, maybe. Just play out. No. Sweet. Gruul's always a fast one way or the other. But yeah, we definitely have what it takes. Just got caught out a little bit there, not having many removal spells. But we do have a lot of things that we can bring in for this matchup. Pretty happy about most of these. I even think we might bring in the D-Spark, I'm not sure. Hits Embercleave, hits Questing Beast. But I guess outside of that, not much. Like Cling, I feel like it's going to be our life gain. Inquisition's like okay, but don't really want to top deck Inquisition late game. Cut like a Teferi. Like a Memory Lapse, maybe. Memory Lapse is good at slowing our opponent, but we're bringing in loads of early interaction. We cut like a Search Rescanter or something instead of one. Bring in the Memory Lapse instead. Okay, so some Gruul aggro. Probably going to keep this hand Heartless Act turn 2, and then we can stop whatever opponent's doing on turn 3. Probably hold this Fetid Pools to cycle. Can't really ask for too much more of a better hand than this. Maybe an Inquisition on 1, but yeah, we'll keep. Yeah, we're going to hold on to this Fetid Pools just because good chance we will want to cycle this away. Heartless Act not his best in this matchup. Probably Eliminates, probably a better card. There's so many cards that, so many creatures that our opponent has counters on them. So yeah, probably don't want to see like a Burning Tree into like another Burning Tree here. That'd be quite painful. See a Pelt Collector into a Burning Tree. You know it. Opponent always has it. Yeah, I think we're going to let the Pelt Collector pick up a counter here and shoot the Burning Tree. I guess actually it's probably better just to shoot the Pelt Collector if we're going to kill something. Because the Pelt Collector has the potential to grow, but Burning Tree is always going to be a 2/2. Well, maybe it was better just to shoot the Volcanic Brawler, but same logic, like there's every opportunity that the Pelt Collector is going to grow even bigger. And if we shoot the Volcanic, well, I guess if we shoot the Brawler, the Pelt Collector goes to a 3/3 anyway. But yeah, our opponent can definitely just do nothing here, attack, and just pass turn. Doesn't work so well against the board wipe, but does work very well against a counterspell. Maybe our opponent's running Collected Company. That was weird. I think our opponent put a stop in our turn. Yeah, I think we just have to go for the board wipe and just hope. Opponent could let the board wipe resolve now and then cast a Collected Company, which would be painful. But I don't see many Gruul lists running Collected Company. Obviously this one is, but not sure why. Pretty sick card. But yeah, obviously about to get smashed down by some of these. Problem is we're not really in a position where we can just sit back and hold up our absorb there, because otherwise your opponent just does nothing and then just smacks you. Opponent can eat some of their creatures. Scavenging Ooze goes up to 4/4. We take 8. Yeah, pretty dire situation here. Guess let's just play out the Drowned Catacombs and pass. Have to Mastery for 2, allow opponent to redraw, kill the Scavenging Ooze, and then absorb something. Yeah, I mean, our opponent could definitely have scarier threats. I think we have to let our opponent redraw here. Like we could exile it and for 4 mana and not let them draw again. But if they have a Bone Crusher Giant or something, or Guess they can't have an Ember Cleave, but there's so many things our opponent could have that just kills us. Maybe we should have countered the Pelt Collector just so we got an extra turn here that we could do nothing. Yeah, I think we're just risking it. If our opponent has Stomp or some sort of Haster, then yeah, guess that happens. Just hoping here that our opponent doesn't have any haste creatures. We get to tick up Liliana, make a 2/2, and can hold back the wave. But even if we get out of this, it's by the skin of our teeth. We're gonna die to a very light breeze. Now that is enough to kill us. So looking for a removal spell here.
I know 88 ways to defeat you. With thoughtfulness before action.
I guess like Cling is okay, gains his free life. Shark Typhoon can make a 1/1 though and redraw. Again, I think we need to fade. If we fade one draw here, then we might be okay. Yeah, gotta fade one draw. Unless our opponent casts something pre-combat, in which case we don't need to. You get Trample? No, just... Oh, it gets Trample anyway. Oh, okay. So what was the other options we got on the bottom again? Cannot see. We have to review that. But yeah, GG. Sweet. Yeah, pays the energy. Botanic Brawler gets Trample. And yeah, game. We'll redraw and see what we could have drawn. We don't have any 1-mana spells to draw. We were 1 away from Wrath of God, but yeah. Good game. So, ended up losing to Gruul in the very last game, but can't win them all. Let's go on to the wrap-up. Howdy guys, cheers for making it to the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching some Esper Control. So I think we ended up going 4-1 overall. One of the opponents in the middle scooped super early, so maybe you can say 3-1, but we ended up playing 5 games, which we like to try and do. But yeah, Esper did really well. I think normally our control lists end up going 3-2 or 4-1, so Jeskai, especially Jeskai and Azoria, so I'm really happy with how Esper performed. I didn't imagine it performed so well. And that being said, compared to most of our control videos, we made a ton of misplays. I say I made a ton of misplays today. I think I announced a lot of them, though some of them probably went straight over my head, but I've not played Esper in a while, and mixing these colours obviously is doing something to my brain, and we're making tons and tons of misplays. But if you guys are looking for a list to play, and maybe red doesn't interest you and you don't want to just play straight blue-white, then yeah, I would definitely recommend Esper. Liliana Dreadhorde General is not something I necessarily think needs to be in the list. It's pretty good because it's a card advantage engine, it's a win condition all in itself, so really everything you want from a Planeswalker. The reason I included her is just I loved playing with Liliana. I think she's excellent, and I think she's a really fun card to play with, which is why I've included her. But I think if you're going to play the list, you might just play the 4th Shark Typhoon instead. But yeah, if we can win that many games with Esper while making the amount of misplays that we made in this, then I have high hopes for Esper, and definitely something we're going to review on the channel as we move forward. As always, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Let me know if there's any cards in here you think shouldn't be in here. Shout at me for the misplays we made, and let me know what you would include. And if you've got an Esper list maybe that you want to share, maybe you want to see
us play on the channel, see how it does overall when climbing through Mythic, then leave it in the comments down below, because when we come to review Esper, it's always nice to make some radical changes and to try different variations of the list, because I'm only one person, I can only try so many different things. So let me know what you guys think down there. But yeah, that's pretty much how it went. I enjoyed playing the list. I hope you guys enjoyed watching some of it. And we got to give a little throwback to that Sultai Ultimatum game. Oh my god, that was insane. I can't believe we played like 12 plus turns against an Omniscience in play. And yeah, that was just crazy. Like that bird like took us all the way down to 1 multiple times. But this is why we play Magic. It's the thrill of like, are we going to get out of it? That's the situation we almost certainly should not have got out with. But our deck gave it to us in the end. And I felt like maybe blue-white wouldn't have been able to come back from that. Maybe it was exactly Esper that could have done that. Because Liliana was the thing that got us in there. Putting a 2-2 into play. And then our opponent having to answer that. And then the Shark Typhoon coming through in the last moment. But yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a high of Esper today. But I'm going to shut up now and try and make these endings a little bit more concise. Upcoming on the channel, I guess, before I shut up, is coming up. We're going to try the Magma Opus combo, which is something I'm interested in giving a go while it's still pretty hot in the meta. It's calming down a little bit, but still want to give it a go at some point. And Azorius as well. We need to get back round to shaping up that list, since I'm fully aware it's been about a week and a half since we gave Azorius a go. So let's go back to the hardcore control and see how that gets on. But yeah, I'm going to shut up. Until next time, stay safe.